So what kind of tree is this, Dad?
Okay, well, so what we have here is a Pacific Dogwood tree. Very pretty, creamy flowers in the spring. We decided we'd like to plant one here in the yard to kind of cover up that wall and present a nice visual effect in the spring. Well, it turns out it's hard to buy Pacific Dogwood here in the mountains. Some folks buy them from nurseries, but they're imported from the East Coast, different species. So I found a nursery in Oregon that supplies these trees and purchased this one. They came in a bare root condition for shipping through the mail.
Would you mind explaining what a bare root condition is?
Well, they grow the tree in the ground and then they dig around it and they wash all the dirt away from the roots, so they're not shipping dirt through the mail. They pack it in sawdust. Well, what that means is you have to put it in dirt as soon as you get it. But we got it in the middle of February and this was all covered with snow, so I couldn't plant it. Therefore, I put it temporarily in this pot with potting soil. And now what I'm trying to do is transfer this soil into the ground here, which is kind of tricky because the roots haven't grown out enough to fill the container, which usually holds all the soil together. So I've got my hole dug here into the native mountain soil, which should be good for this tree.
How deep do you recommend?
Well, the standard recommendation for planting trees is 1.5 times deeper than the pot, or to 2 times deeper. But I like to get it into the native soil as soon as possible, so I don't dig the holes that much bigger than the pot, maybe 25% bigger. So we're going to give it a go here and see if we can get this into the ground without disturbing the roots too much. You can see I've over here, Kevin, I've cut the bottom off of the pot. There are some nice roots that have done quite a bit of growth in the meantime here. So we'll get that in there without too much disturbance. It's a little low, but I think it'll work because there's some roots that are up pretty high on the stem here. So I think we'll be all right. I'm gonna backfill with a little native soil so it doesn't spread out too much as I pull the pot out.
Now, do you recommend a beer while you plant?
It always helps.
Product placement.
Yeah, how much is Heineken paying you for this one, then?
Okay, this is looking pretty good here. A bit more on this side. And I think this pot will just kind of slip right off. Leaving the tree
Voila!
in the ground with the roots fairly undisturbed. So I'm pleased with the way that went. We'll see a little later in the spring if this all works. It's always nice to plant bare root trees because they get into the native soil sooner, whereas trees that are planted in pots the roots tend to stay in that nice potting soil and they don't do as well in the long term. Over here, just as a side note, we have some daffodils that I planted bulbs in November, and they started peeking up as soon as the snow melted. So those should be very pretty in a few weeks.
Nice.
Last step here, so I'm going to go get a watering can and water that in a little bit. And we'll water it occasionally, but I think there's enough moisture in the soil that should do pretty well.
Excellent.
And that's how art does it.